Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Nick here at Roll Coverage. Don't forget to subscribe because it helps us out a ton. And we appreciate everybody that does. But without further ado, let's go.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Nope.
They roll coverage. So Carolina's in this weird spot. I don't really know how to explain it, but I'm going to try and do my best. There's so many great men on this roster, young people that we've brought in, coaches, and just the culture that we're going around this team. In fact, I'm going to pull up some things to support my argument personally, and then some other thoughts as we move forwards. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to move it over to one with a background here. We're going to go look at our depth chart. Okay, obviously Bryce is our number one. He's going to be our go-to. I've been called a Bryce hater. I've been called a lot of things about it. But to be honest with you, I think I'm just a Bryce realist. The first year was not a good enough season for a number one pick, regardless of where they go. This year's Caleb Williams, I would expect to smash Bryce's 2,800 yards and 12 touchdowns, 10 games into the season, barring injury, of course. So I like Bryce. I know we have to build around Bryce. There's the whole thing of the last year with Reich and Stroud and that, but I'm not going to get into that. It's 2024. I have to move forward regardless of my thoughts. I like Chuba Hubbard. I'm going to ignore Brooks for just a brief moment and kind of talk about the other ones. Miles Sanders I like, but he came from one of the best offensive lines in the Eagles with a great system and the whole nine. So Miles Sanders coming to us where our O-line was depleted didn't really make a whole lot of sense, and especially with the contract we gave him. I do agree with most people that Rashad Penny is most likely a training camp casualty or like a filler spot. And then Chuba, of course, I've liked, but I thought we should have paired him with somebody else when we got rid of Christian McCaffrey instead of going down the avenue that we went. Jonathan Brooks can do well. He's only 20. I've given him that, but where we drafted him, it was the problem and the reason why I didn't like the pick. I'm not saying I'm against him as a player or anything like that. We've done a little bit of a breakdown where, of course, I only went into the negative because you've heard plenty of positives about this guy. But I'm just concerned about if we're going to commit to the run game. All four of these guys, no offense, are not good enough to be a running back number one on a run-first offense. Jonathan Brooks especially, he's going to have to heal up and then really get his legs back out from under him. Back under him. So that's a problem for me. Jonathan Brooks is probably not even if he had the opportunity, I wouldn't start him until, or at least put him in the game for at least a few. And let these other guys kind of eat up those early, fresh bodies, and then let Brooks come in later. When it comes to wide receivers, though, Deontay is fine. Adam is fine. XL is fine. Mingo is fine. Terrace fine. ISM fine. Sims, Straken, and more. Jalen Camp. They're fine. We had Jalen Coker, too. We probably dropped him already. When it comes to here, okay, quarterback. I'm not a fan of Dalton, so you're never going to hear me want to put him in. But when it comes to these quarterbacks, I feel like it's a B. Okay, Dalton helps that out a little bit. Bryce can develop. I'd probably put it closer to B- as opposed to a straight B. But we're building in that, and I'm fine with that. When it comes to running back, I like Chuba, but again, Chuba's not the best blocker, but I do need him to block on occasion. Jonathan Brooks was dogged in his draft profiles for not being as strong and not being a good blocker, so I don't love that. Rashad Penny is a bigger body, but not really the best blocker. And then same thing with Miles Sanders, smaller body, not a great blocker. So if we're committing to a run game, I don't understand why Jonathan Brooks was the way to go. The other one that doesn't make sense if we're going running is Jatavian Sanders, because that was his critique at college, was he was not a good NFL level blocker. Now, Tommy Tremble is in there, but if I'm bringing in Jatavian Sanders to catch the ball and I go to put Tommy Tremble out there too, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand the logic. So for that reason, I'm going to give our running back room a B- as well. So right now we're sitting at about a B-. In fact, let's just do this. We're going to do text. Nope, I'm going to try and get this right. QB. And yes, I normally do these things ahead of time, but you know what? I just decided right quick to do this. QB, RB, receiver, line. I'm going to do OL, DL, Linebackers, secondary. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. I'm going to give grades for each. I'm going to call this the way too early grades. So this is going to be my thought process here. Okay, QB. I'm going to go with a B. I'm fine with that. Running back room right now, B-. Wide receiver room, C+. Now, people are going to hate that C+. There's going to be a big reason why. We invested a decent amount in our wide receivers. But this is my thought process, okay? If we're committing to the run, we're committing to blocking, which is taking shots away from our wide receivers, which is not allowing us to, really get the deep balls. Of course, I understand what's going to happen. We're going to start a run game. We're going to get play action and then hopefully catch a Jatavian Sanders 40 yards on a post, or, catch Deontay Johnson, just falling down the sideline into a great touchdown. That's awesome. But that still doesn't, help us really establish the run and have that really be our identity. If that's the case, I don't understand the draft grades, which has been my question to a lot of people. 2 growls. I've talked with a few. I'm sorry, I'm getting everybody's names. Arbsy Mello, DeCorner Man. There's a bunch of them where I just don't understand it. Now, when it comes to tight ends, I'm not even going to put that in there because they're. It's fine, I guess. Let's see. I guess I'll put tight end there. Tight end. I'm going to go C- or C. Now, when it comes to offensive line, I feel like we really missed big time by taking Brooks over Jackson Powers-Johnson, the center. I feel like that's really where this is messing up, and everybody in here, right here, I don't love. Christensen, Zavala, Robert Hunt I like, Corbett's fine, Damian Lewis is, pretty good, but that's pretty much it. These 4 are okay. Obviously, Robert Hunt's a little bit better. We did pay him a big contract, but I just don't. I feel like we should have shored this up because I want to say Austin Corbett's older, right? He's only 28. He's not too bad, but still. And let's see. Jackson, Powers, Johnson. 21. I'm sorry. I really wish we would have gone with this guy, but that's regardless. So this is what we got. I don't love the offensive line. I will end up giving the offensive line. Oops. I'm going to pop this grade in here real quick. What do you think I should give them? I'm going to give them a B-. Okay. I think that Robert Hunt and everything are upgrades. Austin Corbett is going to be interesting at center. Taylor Moton, if Icky can actually keep it going. Obviously, if Zavala and some of these other guys can get healthy, we can kind of fill in those back-end roles. But injury concerns are my biggest ones moving forwards. And that's before I even touch this side of the ball. So when it comes to the offense, again, I'm worried. If you wanted to put me on the spot right now, tell me or ask me what would I think that Bryce Young ends the year with, I'm probably in the 3 to 3,500 range for yards, and I'm probably in the 16 to 19 range for touchdowns. And if that's a second year of a number 1 pick after we got rid of the archaic vanilla offense that he couldn't run in favor of an offensive coach adding offensive pieces and all that other stuff, then I really have a concern that next year there will be a boom or bust moment for Bryce Young, meaning if he doesn't get 25, 27, almost 30 touchdowns and really get those picks downs, get those yards up, I would expect us to start looking at a different quarterback, or just understand that Bryce is not the guy, or at least not the guy we thought he was. So I'm giving it time. I'm not a hater. I'm just looking at it from an objective point of view. And that's what I want you guys to do too. When I get flamed and stuff like that by some people for saying, oh man, you don't know ball. No, man, I accurately predicted the roster last year. I was the one that was telling us in preseason in game 1, 2, 3, 4 that, hey man, this roster is not ready for this. We're going to have to rebuild. This was the rebuild year, the start of it. We were not a quarterback away and all that other stuff. And everybody kept telling me, man, we're a fringe playoff team. I even have people now saying that we might win 10 games this year. I'm sorry, man. I'm putting this closer to around 5 to 6. If we end up with 4 wins, I'm happy. 3 wins, though, I think Dave most likely has to do something to really get people back on board. Because if Dave retools this entire roster and only gets 1 more win, that's not a good look for David Tepper. That's not a good look for our Carolina Panthers. And we will end up with a top 5 pick next year. Could benefit us, could not. But That's something that we're going to have to think about. Now, when it comes to the defense, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like we made some good decisions. I feel like we really blew some shit up and really messed up this defense. Whereas last year, defense was a strength. I feel like it will be the opposite this year. And I feel like it's the opposite this year because we've seen such a immense focus placed on the offensive side of the ball. Now, when you come to Ashawn Robinson, Shai Tuttle, Derek Brown, Wadham, Shaq Thompson, Josie Jewell, I'm sorry, Clowney, Dane Jackson, Jordan Fuller, Xavier Woods, and J.C. Horn. I like some of these. Chow Smith-Wade, I think, is going to be an interesting one, the one that we drafted. Who else did we draft here? I love DiCaprio Boodle. Love the name. Michael Barrett, shout out to my boy. Krumedy, I think, is going to be a weird one. And I feel like there's another one that I'm missing. There absolutely is another name that I'm missing that we just drafted. And I don't see his name. It's not DJ Johnson, is it? No. The hell was that other dude that we just... I literally did a whole thing on him and his name is escaping me right now. Is it Trevin Wallace? It is Trevin Wallace, 372. Yep. Trevin Wallace was the one pick that I'm very concerned about because everybody that really talked about him said he did not have an NFL level play recognition and awareness, so I'm very concerned about that. Now, Clowney, I'm really hoping can go out there and really get some stuff done. This whole group right here. But when it comes to the line, they're fine. I'm going to come in here. We're going to give a D-line a solid grade of a B. Now, when it comes to this linebacker core, I will give it a C+. Secondary, I'm going to give a C+. The reason why I'm going with these grades this way too early is J.C. Horn is hyper-dependent on health. Okay? Otherwise, we're going to have to roll in some other guys, and I think that could really mess some stuff up. I do like Troy Hill. I like some of our corners, but I really feel like we messed up big time by not getting Kool-Aid. And I believe he also went in division, so that really screws us too. Xavier Woods I like, Jordan Fuller I like, of course. Dane Jackson I'm not the biggest fan of, but I understand why we are keeping him around. Jose Jewell better be a serious upgrade for this linebacking core. We obviously lost Frankie Louvu, so I'm very curious to see how this whole thing is going to work out right here. Even with DJ Wadham, I'm not a Wadham fan at all. I'm okay with Shaq Thomas. But again, if we end up having to get a Trevin Wallace into this game or into this year, I think we're in a lot of trouble. Of course, boom bust potential with some of these later picks, of course, with Chow Smith, Krumedy, and stuff like that. But we just need to decide. If we're a run team, we need to understand that Bryce's numbers are going to sink. If we're going to be a passing team, we have to understand that, we might have not built the roster the right way. We went with non-blocking tight ends. We went with non-blocking running backs. So there's a lot that comes into that. Am I excited for the season? Oh, absolutely. I can't wait. I hope we win a bunch of games. I hope I am the one that people just come out and just start tagging me like crazy, being like, man, you didn't know what you were talking about, and we're a great team this year. I would love that. But I've got to be more realistic. You come here for realism. You come here for the facts, to be honest with you. That's what Roll Coverage is here for. It's here for you. It's here for me. It's here for everybody. And yeah, I'm going to sit with one simple grade, okay? We're going to put this thing up right here. My total grade for the entire year and then some. Oops. So, Panthers get a C. Okay. I know I'm doing this stuff on the fly, but this is what I'm doing. Panthers get a C. Oop, wrong side. Panthers get a C. I don't really know what else to do with that. I think that we have an opportunity to do something, but this needs to be the beginning of the Dave Canales rebuild, which means players, fans, ownership, front office, and everything need to all be on the same page. We need to be able to give Dave the amount of time that he needs to actually make this succeed. But what is the limit? What is the limit for you Panthers fans? What's the limit for other people? What is the limit where we say, you know what, man, maybe Dave was the wrong decision and we need to go in a different direction? That's going to be a real interesting thing, a real interesting question that we have to answer, hopefully right here on Roll Coverage. But yeah, C, man, C. I don't know what else to do with it. I wish it could be more. I wish I could come in here and be like, man, you know what? We're gonna upgrade this a little bit. We're gonna go C+. Actually, now that I say it, we'll go C+. The only way I'm giving it a C+ is, again, I like these moves. I like some of the wide receiver moves. I like Hunt now that I've had time to digest the contract. I like some of the acquisitions on the defensive side, but I just don't think it's going to be able to overcome. But C+, as long as we can finish the year 27th in the power rankings, I'd be happy. That's an upgrade over 32. So, hey, if you're right here with me, make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you send me a DM on Twitter. Email's also up there as well. If you'd like to come on Roll Coverage and do a live show with me, make sure you check us out during the week at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, most days. And yeah, my name is Nick. This is Roll Coverage. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.